Tom's
He's in the chat.
amazing. He knows everything about these like
Yeah.
parks. It's just like, oh, where's the nearest bathroom? Doesn't matter where you're at. He's like, oh, it's right over
Yeah,
there.
Jay told us the wrong way, and Tom was like, "No, it's right here."
Sorry, I figure I would start with the compliments. So, I'm never.
You've only been milking that for like 2 months now. Come on.
What? I think at that point in time, I knew Melanie for like a day. Like that was the most amount.
All the girls love Tom. What's up, man? How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you. I like I said, I'm celebrating only random odd numbers, so we are never sort. Why is your hand up? Do you have a question? I didn't notice his hand was up.
Like I said earlier, I can't wait for you to celebrate 6,900 subscribers.
I'm mathematically speaking, I think that'll be about 2.5 years. I don't know. Depends. I really hope something happens in theme parks.
You really hope that Greta Thunberg isn't right?
Yeah, I don't. How is everyone doing? Thank you for coming for part 2. I did send out some links, but I don't know who's going to show up. R2 is the only person here that will have access, though, to my channel besides me. So he hopefully won't hit the red button this time.
I promise I won't. I'm not on my phone this time. I'm on, the desktop. Yeah, I feel like I'm the official rent-a-friend to run your channel when you're gone.
Yeah, I know you've done it for Ryan Legion Games 26 before, 2600 something or other, 27Z6. He has so many different things. I don't understand. Just
2076, I think. Yeah.
Just simplify it. If I'm going to say this, if there's way too many people to have that many numbers behind, maybe something new. I'm just going to say. I didn't have to do the Rogue Attraction 75,000.
That sounds like a metal band.
Why? Because of Power Man 9,000 or 5,000?
5,000.
That was a great song. Worlds Collide was a great song. Yeah. So this is just kind of a hangout, blah, 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 chat, talk. I wanted to give a chance to, one, bring on people that I know, that I like, that I want to help also get to milestones. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed to After the Weekend, they're so close to membership levels. They about have 175 more. I know I'm a small-time YouTuber compared to everyone else, but if you're in here and you're in the chat and you like retro movie reviews, and he will be live also after this on his own channel for After the Weekend Harder, please go and consider giving a sub. So I will always do this whenever I'm doing any type of celebration or any stream in general. I don't care. I will shill my friends. So please go watch After the Weekend.
Well, there's one person who's already subscribed in the chat, my wife. She has to support me no matter what, whether she likes it or not.
Oh, okay. And I see Mrs. Theaki in here. How you doing? I hope you had a good day. And what's
we
up,
went to the county fair? We had a lot of fun.
I sadly did not have a corn dog. I did get some elote today, though.
Ooh.
Yes.
Darn.
Yeah, it was fun. I had it the short way, though. If you're not into G&G and all that stuff, there was a joke going on around for a while that Beardo ate corn the long way.
Is that the wrong way?
Like the long.
I thought maybe like X-Ray Girl said it to him, and that's why it came out the long way.
No, he walked into that at some point in time, and so I ate elote the short way.
Like a typewriter.
Yeah. But dude, that ice cream yesterday. So if you watched the Halloween Horror Night stream the other day, they had one of the best things I've ever eaten in Florida. Like, I honestly think one of the best things I've ever had. It was sour apple ice cream with with apple pie filling, and then funnel cake cinnamon fries. And it was like $7. It was like $7 or $8, and it was like a pound. It was the first time I actually saw that like good of a value. I didn't finish it, and I had to stop. Like it was the end of my live stream. I had to stop because there's still half of it left. I'm like, I don't want to be here for another 25 minutes eating ice cream in front of you guys. Like I felt bad. Like let's just end it.
Well, we had a funnel cake today too. It was good, so I can't blame you on that one.
What's up, Ken, man? Yeah, poor Beardo. He's doing well. He's doing well. I sent him a picture of a Kia Soul that was wrapped in Batmobile pictures to make him feel better today. If Beardo is ever feeling down, just send him a picture of Batman.
Oh,
That'll
okay.
help him feel better.
I was gonna say, does he drive a Kia Soul?
No, he doesn't. I think he drives a Taco, the Toyota Tacoma. I don't know if people call them tacos. I don't know if that's like a good thing. I guess.
I think that's just like the nickname for him.
I might have single-handedly made it go longer. Someone may have gifted him the big corn skin in Fortnite. Oh, poor Beardo. Good people, though. Good people. Nothing wrong with Beardo. Doesn't deserve 20% of what he gets. 35. So,
That's quite the jump.
I don't know. It's a
20,
some number.
20 to 35%.
What's up, Dengar Renegade? How you doing? Congrats, Tom and Zort. This is all Zort. Zort is responsible for about 95% of my subs. So, thank you, Zort. I have to thank him. It's contractually obligated. Otherwise, I can't carry him. What can I say? But
I saw today you and Zort met Edgar Allan Porg.
all right. First of all, look, as much I love when a cast member actually like goes into that bit a little bit and has one of the porgs or a loft cat and stuff like that, especially for like kids around. It makes the world feel better. And as much as we want to say it, like the theme parks are meant for children for the most part, like they're meant for families and children. So the more they can make the world feel like lived in. So Edgar Allan Porg was a funny name. I give her credit for that. Doesn't make sense why someone on an alien planet knows who Edgar Allan Poe is. Like that don't work, but it's funny. It works. I Beardo versus Tom Cookoff. I don't want to humiliate him. I don't want to do that.
I feel like Beardo would be like, I can microwave a killer hot pocket.
No, Beardo's a good cook. I will take it back. Beardo
Okay.
cooks a lot for G&G. He's a good cook, but like, I don't know. Like, I can make a cake without looking at measurements. Like, I can just tell how much flour, how much sugar.
I know. Well, we keep on inviting you to come visit, and Mrs. R2 wants you to cook dinner one night when you come.
I'm being invited to be put to work.
Yes. We'll take you around places.
Wait, what? He uses clamato in his Mexican rice? Why? Wait, what?
Remember when that drink came out?
But it's got clam juice in it. What?
I know.
Like what?
It's not really clam juice, isn't it? Like clam water.
Beardo, if you're hearing this, Beardo, I have questions.
Are you gonna text him right now?
I like that. Feels like a crime against culinary arts.
Tom's got to step away for a moment.
I'm sorry. Mexican rice isn't hard. You get some yellow rice. You get a can of tomato with green chilies in it. You get some saffron if you have the money for it to make it a little bit lighter. Like, it's very hard. It's not very. I'm going to have a heart. Like, I'm almost having a panic attack from that level of. And he thinks he can.
This is how Tom feels after hearing that knowledge.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I'm like, whatever. I do like Beardo. Me and Beardo are in a fine place, but I'm never gonna let him cook for me. He made burgers one time. We were over at the G&G HQ. He made burgers, and all right, a good burger, right? You can tell a good burger.
I've never interacted with him, but I feel like I should send him a link to this and be like, hey, Beardo, come on here and defend your cooking because Tom's having a meltdown.
Who's Park Shopping? I don't know.
That's pretty good, though.
Park Shop. Is that Krista's alt account? I don't know. Park Shopping is in the chat. Some people use ketchup. That's welcome to the channel. First time chat from Park Shopping. To be honest, like Mexican food was not my wheelhouse. It's more Oriental, just because of where I learned to cook and how I learned to cook. But I can make some killer, like, tacos or whatever. Like, you want me to make food, I'll make food for you. But
Wait,
Beardo,
I just gotta say though, isn't it Asian, not Oriental?
I don't know. I did Korean, I did Thai, I did Chinese.
That's all
Korean is
Asian though. It's not Oriental.
When I was going there, it was called Oriental Shop. That's where I worked. What do you want me to say?
You're gonna make Mrs. R2 mad.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. R2.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Sorry, Mrs. R2. I will call it Asian. He's a good guy. I love the guy behind the gimmick. People at the house love his food, but I look at it and I question some of the good food. Come on, look at what Jeremy eats. All I just want Beardo to do is pull back the seasoning a little bit, because if your food is good, you don't need heavy seasoning. That's all. Like, you pull back the seasoning a little bit.
Doesn't Jeremy eat like nothing but chicken nuggets?
Thank you for forgiving me. Thank you. They all are like not real Epicureans when it comes to food. That's why, like, I respect Lee. Lee has a good palate. Lee has a good sense of taste. Joe and Rolo's like Jeremy. He doesn't eat much, and Joe is starting to. Wait, his meatballs were like orbs in Ahsoka? What orbs? I don't even know. Oh, okay, the little map orb thing. Okay, they're gonna sell that in Galaxy's Edge soon, by the way. I saw a mock-up of it.
Nah, I will be honest. I am a bit of a picky eater myself. I wish I wasn't. And you can ask my wife, though. There are times I will try new things. Sometimes I don't like it, and sometimes I do.
Everyone knows I have one thing. It is mushrooms. That's it.
That's so weird too. So like, mushrooms are pretty good.
Mushrooms. Okay, I have to apologize if you're a channel member. I'm watching two other little dogs right now for a month, and they are driving me bananas. I just took them for the walk. I fed them. I had them all lying down in their beds. Rogue has to go into a separate room now because...
I heard that and I was like, is that my dog barking?
No, so I have to apologize. They have... I still have 3 more weeks. I have not slept in 3 days.
You can give dogs Benadryl.
I was just going to give them whiskey. I agree with that. I made a statement for that. If a dog weighs underneath 5 pounds, is it a dog?
So Jeremy's dogs are not dogs?
Well, come on. Chihuahuas are bred to be eaten. Weren't they? I think that's like an actual thing, and I'm pretty sure Chihuahuas were bred to be food.
Why would you breed the smallest thing? Wouldn't you breed something?
It's like the size of a chicken.
Yeah, but if you're gonna breed something, wouldn't you want it to be like the size of like a cow?
I didn't even know. I didn't know. I was trying to type Chihuahua, and apparently Chewinese is a thing. The Chihuahua mixed with a wiener dog. I did not know that was a thing. I don't even. There we go. Chihuahua. I didn't even know how to spell it. You don't want a dog that you can't spell the name of.
Yes, that's why I went with a boxer.
Yes. It is a common belief that small dogs were originally bred. Oh, God. Yes, it's true. Chihuahuas used for food as well as companionship. They were not hunters.
In Korea, there is like a breed of dog that they farm them and eat them. They kind of look like an Akita with brown hair.
Those are cute. Those are cute dogs. Like Chihuahuas, I don't know, man. Like, it just looks sad. Like, the dog looks sad. It also then makes the Taco Bell commercials from the 90s so much more weird. But Oriental Chicken is mini dog. Chihuahua. Cameron, Cameron, you gotta you have to mod every channel on the planet. I'm impressed. Now, I did say this earlier, and I will do a corn dog membership stream somehow. They finally allowed you to do membership streams from mobile, so that might be the easiest way, just so I can have my phone in the kitchen instead of trying to set up cameras and everything like that. So that might be what I do. But there will be a corn dog cooking stream, which I thought I did one of those a while ago for Korean corn dogs. I have to look. It's been a while. But so I think RT, were you the first person or were you the second person that actually had me on as a guest back in the day? I know Tabitha and Dan had me on talking Ghostbusters, but I thought
well, maybe it was Maria. I mean, like I may have invited you, but I don't think you were actually on after the official After the Weekend channel yet. But it was either on Maria's channel or it was Dan's channel.
Cam, I had a wrench before you for tabletop. Wow. Oh, you're sending me.
I think we did Ghostbusters Afterlife. That was like 2 years ago, I think. That's crazy.
I'm not sharing this though. This is sad though. They're pretty looking dogs.
No, I'm not saying you don't have to share that, but I'm just saying they genuinely.
Oh, that's sad.
Like that breed is for that, and they're not like necessarily good like dogs for pets too. They look like
Hachi.
Yeah, kind of like an Akita, right?
Yeah. Don't look that up, chat, because that's actually like I'm a dog person, and like the Chihuahua thing is a joke and all, and I would not let anyone do that now, like eat them. But like if there are actual people breeding, except I will.
Who is it? Kevin Smith's producer, or at least his former producer, Scott Mosier, adopted a dog from Korea, and it was one of these dogs, and he talked about it. And what they were for too, and I was like, no way, and I looked it up, and I mean, it was true.
Please tell me it's at least North Korea, not South Korea.
I have no idea.
I mean, South Korea, you think is somewhat civilized, like you see, like you think like playing Genshin Impact or Fortnite or something like that. Not,
not entirely sure there, Tom. I'm sorry. That one, you can believe whatever you'd like to there. So if that's what you want to think,
I will believe that. This is this is the most random. This will be the most random stream. Mainly because I had it's the end of the Halcyon. Jay just talked about that. I talked about that a little in my stream. I had an opportunity to go and I didn't do it because I kind of wanted to not to. Like that type of thing. It's like if I had a group of friends, like if I had 10 friends going with me, then the Halcyon thing could be really cool. You need to have a group of people that you know. Just
remember like how awesome it was when they announced Star Wars Land and the hotel.
Oh yeah,
and we all thought we were going to get, and then what we ended up with, and just how bad it was, and even to like, I mean, you spent a lot of time in Star Wars Land.
I don't think the land itself is bad. I don't think the Galaxy's Edge is bad.
The fact that they didn't go with a more traditional, familiar location, right? Because weren't they going to do Tatooine originally? Wasn't that Iger was like, we're going to do Tatooine, and then it was Kathleen Kennedy said, "Oh no,
so
we're going
to." One of the lead Imagineers for the Galaxy's Edge, I think I forget the Blue Sky name at the moment, but one of the lead Imagineers showed the original plans. It was going to be, they were going to have Tatooine. They were going to have a section for Hoth. They had this whole plan. And, now I get the hubris behind that is palpable for Kathleen Kennedy. And it was the dumbest decision outside of the movies that she made. Iger shouldn't have listened. I get where Iger's coming from. Okay, well, if we have 5-year-old fans now, in 50 years they'll still be fans, and then blah blah blah. Guess what? Like, if I have kids, they ain't seen the sequel trilogy, they're seeing the originals. The originals lasted multiple generations. Like, it doesn't work that way. And then you think about the parks themselves. Right, being around 50 years, everyone still loves those things in there that are 50 years old, or in Disneyland's case, 66 or 67 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to change it. People for a company based around nostalgia, right? Theme parks in general, Universal's different. They're not really nostalgia. They change and they innovate so quickly. They change and move things out so quickly. So it's kind of hard to say they're nostalgia. But Disney was based on nostalgia, built on nostalgia. Why wouldn't you just do nostalgia for your Star Wars property? I understand Avengers Campus over in California. I understand that. Marvel was hot. Put in the stuff from the MCU. It makes a lot of sense. That makes 100% sense to me. But
that
for
was
Star
such
Wars,
a weak release though too. I mean, the
Yeah.
Star Wars land is far better, and
well, they're eventually gonna get their e-ticket attraction, which is the Quinjet ride, which now is gonna be a multiverse ride, which is weird. I don't know why you would do that. People are done with multiverses. I will say that until we see like Deadpool 3. Like that might be the one multiverse movie that works well because like the rumors of having Chris Evans back as the Human Torch, having Daredevil back, having Ben Affleck back as Daredevil, having all that stuff going on, like that all makes Deadpool 3 seem like bonkers in the best way.
yeah.
I want them to bring back the guy who played Mr. Fantastic from the original movie, from the 2005 one. Bring him back. Have him in there. I just hope they don't de-age anyone. Like I don't want de-age.
I was gonna say
Jennifer
Jessica Alba
Garner.
needs work, I'm sure.
Doesn't she have like? Isn't that like her baby care product thing? Makes millions.
I'm making a joke.
I thought that she did a good amount of money from that. I don't know. I don't have big.
I think she's far more enjoying being a mom.
Yeah.
Than.
But I mean, they're just chomping at the bit to get the X-Men inside of the parks and the merch and stuff like that. They're selling X-Men 97 stuff already.
I was gonna say at least two. I'm glad that what's her name? Victoria Alonso's gone, because remember she wanted it to be the mutants and not the X-Men.
Yeah. All right. First of all, if you can get to an Ollie's, get to an Ollie's. I'm gonna say that because
there is one in my area.
They have the Captain America shield from Winter Soldier, not Falcon the Winter Soldier. Like they have Cap's metal
one?
shield for like $30. Like I kind of have to find an Ollie's to see if I can go get that because I kind of want to have Cap's shield.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, we have one that's like an hour south of us.
Okay, I think mine isn't that far away because I know people that go buy pool chemicals from there. I think it's like over near Ron John, so it's not too bad.
I know. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow.
Has JT gone and got Cap's shield yet? Like he can.
I don't know if he's got an Ollie's by him, but I think hearing that I'm like I should get that for him and send it to him. He's been having a rough month.
Oh, hey Ash, how you doing? Thank you, welcome. But I do want to talk. I put the question out, and R2 is a parent, so it's actually awesome having a parent on for this because I did put a Twitter poll out and about the Halloween events, and I find them to becoming a little bit more and more risque as they continue. Like each time I've gone, they've gotten a little bit more and more adult. Now I put a Twitter poll out saying, and I think majorly speaking, about 80% went along with it, saying that the Halloween events should only be 18 and up for like Howl-O-Scream and Halloween Horror Nights, or even Not Scary Farm. I was shocked when I saw Not Scary Farm's stage show. That like, you think Not Scary Farm, and
especially with the name Not Scary, you kind of think like they're playing along with things like Disney's Not So Spooky.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Now, Theme Park Casual is a friend of the channel, a friend of both of our channels, and he did explain that like Not Scary Farm has been a more adult thing, but that area has enough signage and enough stuff, and you can go in there if you want to. Which, okay, that makes sense. And even Halloween Horror Nights, they have Nightmare Fuel, which is separated, cordoned off. It's a stage show in the back you have to go to. You have to search that out. Howl-O-Scream, on the other hand, the main show they have, if you watch the live stream from last week, is almost a strip show. Like they have a bunch of sirens dancing in a erotic manner, and they even bring up a guy and a girl and do a lap dance as part of the show.
Are you trying to say they put the whore in horror?
Kinda. And now it's a great show.
There's my dad joke.
It's a great show, and it's like they have good choreography, and it's fine for adults. But I'm sitting there and I'm seeing 5-year-olds watching this, and someone commented on the Twitter post like, "Let's stop putting like sex into everything." And there's no reason why a scary thing needs to have like twerking and stuff like that.
It doesn't have to be provocative.
Yeah, like it could be scary. The fact that there's more, like at least for Hollowscream, there's more people in like erotic attire than scary attire. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't make it okay like in the saying, but right. I mean, that's the way of the world almost these days. I mean, just how much that gets pushed. I mean, in all honesty, I would say they should really have 2 sections. I mean, and they should be opposite of each other in the sense of, like Universal should have an 18 and up only side for their horror nights, but they could do one that is more tuned down or even on the level of a not so scary and have it at the opposite end of the park. And that way those 2 crowds are nowhere near each other. Same thing like Disney could almost do that. I mean, if they wanted to. Then again, I don't think Disney should get dark like that.
Disney does not have anything that.
No. But now, but I mean, now that they own all like those Fox properties, for example, and I mean, even a lot of other stuff. I mean, studios like, I mean, because technically, isn't like, for example, like Scream. I mean, isn't Scream technically a Disney property that was Miramax?
I do owned by not Disney. Know if Scream is owned by Disney anymore. Scream owner franchise, Woods Entertainment, Dimension Film. So first one is Woods Entertainment, Dimension Films 1 through 4, Conrad Pictures 2 through 3, Craven Mandela 2 through 3, Corvus Corax Productions 4 of them. Spyglass Media Group now owns it. After Paramount was distributing it. So, yeah, that's.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, right? For example, I mean, they could do something with like Alien and Predator.
Yeah, they could. And just so people understand, and if they didn't see in the chat, I'm gonna share quickly. I think I have the tab muted.
But
so.
Yeah, I mean, I go, you know, one, if they're gonna do it, I mean, yeah, it should either be 18 and up, or like I said, why not have 2 separate spots for it?
I would almost say like the events go late enough. So like if you don't know what I'm talking about and you didn't watch the reel or the short, this is just giving you an idea. I have the sound muted, but this is like in the main area and these are all people dancing very mature, not just like, you don't need this in a haunting thing.
Yeah.
Like, I get it if you want to do something avant-garde or whatever, but make it separate. Like, that's right when you walk in. That is like right when you walk in.
Yeah.
And I might sound like a prude, but I guess I'm just getting old. I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those things. It's like, it's everywhere in every little thing. And I think it's starting to get old for a lot of us in the sense of like, and especially too, like, right, when you are a parent and you don't want your kids to see that, you know, especially when that's, you know, they're not ready for that.
This is very true. Fishnets are not for under 18.
Yeah.
I was at Halloween Horror Nights the other day and I saw so I don't know what it is. It could be a generational thing. this is happening at both Halloween Scream and Halloween Horror Nights. Parents just go and drop off their 15-year-olds to whatever age and leave them until 2 a.m. at this event alone.
Well, and that's bad parenting. I mean,
Like, I'm just saying, and I mean, Universal tries and Hollow Scream, SeaWorld tries, but like, they just need to have that one person who's a little older in the group that's 21, and then there's, you're only allowed to buy one at a time, but that's from the one place. You can go back up and get another one, go back up and get another one, and get them for your 15, 16, 17-year-old friends.
well, I mean, but then that comes down to, I mean, that's on them. I mean, it's going to be at the end of the day. I mean, it'll end up ruining everything for them.
Yeah, I would say, thank you, Chris Ellis. Thank you. I would say it's also a reason why there was more incidences of scare actors getting punched, because there are this younger element there. Now, I will say I've gone to 3 years worth of Halloween Horror Nights now. I went once the first time I moved down here. I went for the past, I guess, 2 years, 21, 21, and 2022, and this year. And what's up, Chris Smith? Thank you. And I've noticed that the crowd, like, this year is the first time Frequent Fear sold out. Last year it didn't sell out. This is the first time I've ever heard in the 30 years of Halloween Horror Nights being a thing, Frequent Fear selling out. And it's the highest priced one so far. Like, it's the highest price Frequent Fear, and it's sold out. So I don't know if it's...
How much is it?
The highest priced one, with tax, $1,100 for
Wait,
60.
What do you get with this for $1,100?
You get every day of Halloween Horror Nights that they have, and the express pass to cut the line for the houses. That's 48 days.
I don't know how you could go and spend every night at a theme park like that.
I can't do it every night.
I'm just saying, for that too. I mean, I guess when they're doing the Halloween Horror Nights, are you able to go on any of the rides, or it's just you walk through?
You can do Mummy, Gringotts, anything on the Universal Studios side.
Okay. Well, I guess if you could go on rides, I mean, that's cool, but still, it's like...
It's still more expensive. It's still more expensive than the year-long regular top tier annual pass for Universal.
I can't
Zombie
believe
Box
that.
Reviews. How you doing, man? I'm just saying.
I'm like, there's so much better ways you could spend $1,100.
I'm just gonna say this. It was packed from day one. More RIP tours as well. Yes, there are a lot of RIP tours going around. Now, the RIP tours are very interesting. You get to actually take some photos inside and stuff like that. And you get a buffet meal. So, like, at least you're getting food with that. My Frequent Fear, I did the one below the top tier one, which was about $700. And in my viewpoint, as I went 4 times, that would have cost me $800 anyway to go 4 times. Because it's like $100 plus $100 for express. Like, pretty much any day you go. So, in my viewpoint, I covered myself already. And I also do a theme park channel, so I'm writing it off on taxes. However that works. But, and Hollow Scream, if you're a local, it was like $100 for the whole season.
Oh, okay.
So, like, SeaWorld is the one I would recommend. Just do that one. It's less people. You don't need the express pass. You can walk pretty much on all the houses. They still have rides open. And, like, most of the quick service is open, where on Universal they're not really all open.
I mean, I've never done any of that before. I mean, I've watched some of the videos, but most of the time, like, a good chunk of like what they have in there, I'm like, yeah, it's like nothing that, like, I'm not a big horror fan. I don't watch a lot of slasher films. I think when I saw they did Ghostbusters one year, I think that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
And
like,
that was the one I wanted to go to so bad, and I couldn't get to because it was Ghostbusters.
I was like, oh, that was cool.
And they did it in the same building the old ride used to be in, or the old show.
And in terms of like scary movies, if I do like, anything that I do like, it is like Aliens or Predator. It's like a monster movie. I'm not a big fan of like the demonic serial killer slasher flicks.
Well, see, the problem this year was that like the 3 IP houses, 3 out of the 4 IP houses were all current, right? So last year you had the remake of the first Halloween film as a house. It was amazing. They remade the entire first movie pretty much as a house. This year you had like Stranger Things season 4.
I mean, maybe they have and I've missed it, but I'm shocked that they haven't done like anything Jaws related in one of those houses yet.
I would love a Jaws themed house. I would like it would make sense. They don't have the water, so I don't know how you would do it.
Well, but you could do it. I mean, look at like the technology though they have today with like the screens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have it be where you're,
placing
they could give
a screen
it the facade
on the ground,
that you're. Well, yeah, they could have it. They could have a facade where you either felt like you were out in like a dock, or even like in an aquarium, or somewhere like undersea tunnels, and then you could have like a big old screen where like he comes and hits it, and have the room shake or vibrate.
So make it Jaws 3.
Yeah, they could do that.
I mean, I will say that I think like they could do that in SeaWorld because they have the actual shark thing that you go through the tunnel. So like that would be.
But still, in one of those houses, they could have like 1 or 2 rooms like that, and they could even build something in the middle where it is actually water and his head pops out. I mean, could you imagine that if they built that? That would be.
All right,
that scare the crap out of me.
I honestly think like the original Jaws ride was actually like a horror ride. If you ever went on the one in Universal when it was there, you're going through like basically you think this is like the Jungle Cruise. You think you're getting this like thing, and all of a sudden, it's not. Like that was their version, and he actually even going back, they used to show Psycho and The Birds as 3D movies in there from like Hitchcock. Like Universal actually had more scary stuff then, just as regular attractions. Like,
well, like the original version 2 of the ride, I mean, it didn't work because they ended up having to redo it. But like Jaws would actually bite the boat and drag it.
Wait, you rode Jaws at HHN? Was one of the it's going on 32 years. So yeah. Jaws would have been open back in
Fox TV during like Halloween. They advertised it, and like a bunch of like Fox TV show celebrities were there, and they were all riding Jaws.
I did not know that. Wow, I didn't know that. That would have been cool. I mean, I'm not saying you are. I could have ridden it too. We didn't go to Universal that much during the fall when I was going to school as a kid. Like getting there in September and October is a little bit harder. At like
you could have 8, that be have that be a joke on the show on the streams now. Be like, is that Chris Smith old?
Chris, we won't do that to you. Because he can literally just be like, 37 instead of like.
And that's younger than I am, by the way.
I purposely picked younger. I purposely did. But I mean, for something going on 30 years, like I will say they do a good job of keeping it. The Last of Us house is amazing. It's just like it was exactly like the game. Like I was so blown away by that one.
So.
Oh, all right. Chris Smith is definitely older. Wow. You're Gary level age. I'll welcome, sir.
Chris is old enough to be my big brother, or
Chris is almost there with the AARP card,
or a parent that made a mistake at an early point in their life.
Booming. But I will say that I think you should do these events if you can get down to them. I'm also gonna like this is just like I said, free flow and talking. I do want to talk a little bit about something that's been like bugging me a little bit, just in general. First of all, Ahsoka's not terrible. It's not great. It's boring. It's the worst thing you can be for a show is boring. Like there's nothing even to get like upset about. It's just a boring show. I stopped. Like, I watched the Anakin episode for the member berries, if you want to call it that, but just to give some Hayden Christensen like a redemption scene, because Kenobi was terrible. Like that was just awful. But at least he got a scene to look good and give some good dialogue and sort of inform a little bit more on the character. Besides that, it is like, just don't watch it. It's like got one episode left. They haven't done anything. It's been the weirdest paced piece of entertainment I've ever watched.
I have not watched it.
I will say it's worth it to look up the clips for Anakin on YouTube, just because I do think those are.
I didn't
worth
watch
it.
the Clone Wars, so I'm not really familiar with the story arc. So I mean, like, to me, there's nothing really
The only thing
there that would do anything for me.
The only thing that like was his mannerisms. Like just seeing him do, and it's a dumb thing, but to see him do the behind the back spin that he did throughout the entire prequels, like the little behind the back flourish and the lightsabers, and
at this point for me, Star Wars is dead. I mean, it had the slight chance of being potentially great again with The Mandalorian, and that
which they destroyed and burned.
That died off with the Book of Boba Fett.
It died off with Mando season 3.
I didn't even watch season 3.
That was terrible. That was
I didn't even watch it, and I forgot it came out, and somebody was talking about season 3, and I'm like, there's a season 3 that came out yet? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it did. So I didn't even watch season 3 of Mandalorian. That was like the one thing that could have made Star Wars great again. And it's just like everything else with Disney. I mean, sadly, they've squandered it.
I think that what they've squandered is respect of the fan, which George Lucas always had. George Lucas always respected fans.
Sure, but I mean, they've purchased, right, multiple.
Disney always purchases stuff.
But I'm just saying they have purchased multiple franchises in the past 15 years that
they destroyed all of them.
They were the ability to print money.
Yeah, Marvel, and even Pixar. You can put it this way: Pixar and Marvel. Pixar was making the best animated features there were, consistently different all the time, different creators, different stories, back to back to back to back. Disney buys them. Disney gets rid, because of some BS. Disney gets rid of the creative force behind. Because I honestly think when John Lasseter was the head of both Pixar and Disney Animations, we got some of the better animated films from Disney, with Wreck-It Ralph, with Big Hero 6, with The Incredibles, WALL-E, I
was gonna say, I still remember being in the theater watching Toy Story 3 and being like, this got dark all of a sudden. I'm like,
yeah,
I think they're really all gonna burn up in that furnace.
Yeah. Well, Toy Story 3 I liked, but I also thought so if you read Iger's book, he talks a lot about that. If you read Bob Iger's book, he talks a lot about Star Wars and about that process. I think the main reason he did greenlight and help push Young Indiana Jones was for the ability to later on get Lucasfilm. Because Bob Iger was the head of ABC at the time, right? He wasn't the head of Disney, but he was the head of ABC, or one of the heads of ABC, and he pushed forward and greenlit the Young Indiana Jones inventors for George Lucas. George Lucas still remembered that because Indiana Jones was always the character he cared about more too. He cared much more at the time about Indiana Jones than he did about Star Wars. So I think that was a main reason. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just think that Star Wars, I don't think anything can be truly dead because you can think about other things that disappear off of things for like 20 years. or whatever it is, and then someone makes a really great remake and no one realizes that it was a remake. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, the other thing is with like Star Wars at this point, like I'm sick of everything connected to the Skywalkers and the Empire. Like, I want something different out of it.
I can.
I mean, it's like Knights. It's like Knights.
I wouldn't want
the
Knights.
Old Republic.
I would worry about that with the current regime. I would say.
Oh yeah, current regime, absolutely, but.
So I have basically everyone has their dream project or anything, but you want to give me an idea of something that can bring people back to Star Wars. Okay. First thing that I would do is cast Sam Witwer as the lead. One, Star Wars fans really love him, and two, Star Wars fans know he knows his real Star Wars. That's the first thing.
Well, he loves that character though too. I mean, that's the other thing.
Yeah, he is a Star Wars fan. Like, he is not a fake fan. He is he's like the Henry Cavill of Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's even like Jon Favreau with Iron Man and when he was truly involved with The Mandalorian. I mean, that was somebody who loved the property.
Yeah, you could tell by the way
the lore of it.
Yeah, and he put his own spin too, because he did make it more Western than it was like samurai based, and he did put his spin on it, which worked for Mando season 1 and season 2 for the most part. Was that it's also, they should have brought TV people in. Like, if you really wanted to do this, I would have gotten Tyler Sheridan or Vince Gilligan to come in and do Mando and maybe age it up a little bit, but have someone that's used to making an anti-hero Western style theme show. Because guess what? Sons of Anarchy was a Western. It was pretty much a Western. Mm-hmm. And Yellowstone right now is huge. And you could have gotten that same type of vibe. Even bringing Boba Fett in, Boba Fett being brought in, one, he should have had his armor right away. You don't need the MacGuffin of him finding the armor and making that weird story to make him not be in the armor, blah, blah, blah. You could have just had Boba Fett in the armor. And you could have just had Boba Fett show up just as a dark, silent person messing stuff up for Mando and not see who Boba Fett is until the end of the series. You just have someone like snagging bounties from him left and right. And then you see them clash for a little bit or something, even if Boba Fett's in his 50s or whatever it is, because then you could have just had someone else in the thing, or had given Timur enough time to fully get in shape, because he did end up getting in shape finally by the end of filming. They just didn't give him enough time because it was all a scramble because of what happened to Gina. Yeah, it was all whatever. But I mean, honestly, everyone said Star Wars. Marvel, I think, had the biggest fall. You can say Star Wars had a fall, but Star Wars only had $3 billion films. Marvel had 10 years of billion dollar. But I think
the difference, though, between Star Wars and Marvel was Star Wars was up here, and it was this gradual fall that we all saw it. We all saw it happen. With Marvel, it was just
a cliff dive.
It was straight across the board, and then it just plummeted. And that's, I think, the more surprising thing. But I think that's why people don't talk about it as much, is because we were watching a train wreck in motion, or a car crash happening with Star Wars. And Marvel just caught us by surprise.
Well, but I think Marvel is the bigger hubris a little bit. Because Star Wars, you have Kathleen Kennedy coming in saying, I wanted to have my vision, ideology, blah, blah, blah. With Marvel, you have Kevin Feige pretty much saying, I can do whatever, and people are going to watch it. That's kind of what happens.
I mean, Kevin Feige has turned out to be such a Trojan horse, in my opinion.
Well, I do want to point it out, and a lot of people forget this, is that Favreau did a lot of that first phase Bible. So Favreau did do a lot of that first phase Bible, and then Gunn did a lot of, and Gunn and the Russo brothers did a lot of phase 2 and 3 Bible. So it's not really Feige. Feige did a good job of stepping back when he needed to. That's what he did a good job of, right? But you notice the Russo brothers aren't coming back for projects. Now, I know the last thing they did didn't really come out that well, but didn't they also work on something that did do well recently? Or like
they did Extraction. I thought those were both great movies.
There was some other thing I thought they were part of that they didn't like.
Uh,
Wait, did they do the second Extraction? I thought the John Wick team did the second one.
No, they were producers. They didn't direct it.
Yeah.
They directed the first one, and then they were just producers on the second one.
I mean, technically, they got so much money out of Endgame that I don't know if they have to work. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
mean, they very much seemed like if they could do what they wanted to do, they would have done more. I think the reason that they didn't was the fact that one, based on like the plans, and they probably had no interest. I mean, the biggest thing that at this point too, I mean, it hasn't even come out yet. I mean, when Disney bought Fox, I was like, yeah, we're gonna have the X-Men, but I was like, wow, we're finally gonna get a good Fantastic Four movie.
God, the
And
rumor that it's gonna be Sue Storm centric.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's Marvel's first family. It should not be focused on one person. It should be shared between the four of them. But I mean, yeah, after watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because that was the second series that came out, right? On Disney Plus.
Loki, WandaVision.
Well, no, it was WandaVision came out first, but I want to say it was Falcon and Winter Soldier and then Loki.
I'm not 100% sure. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I like Anthony Mackie and I like Sebastian Stan. It was just the girl.
Well, the girl and the story. I mean, I hated the story. It was irritated me so much. Then Loki. I mean, Loki. Yeah, was. A slap in the face.
you're taking characters people like for the most part, because with Wanda, you had characters people liked. You had Loki, characters people like. Falcon and Winter Soldier, characters people like. So you took stories already with characters people like. Even Hawkeye, people liked Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye.
Now, I was gonna say, I did watch Hawkeye, and
wasn't it like sort of like Die Hard feeling? Like it was.
I did like Hawkeye, and I know a lot of people did not care for it, but what's the girl's name who played
Haley Steinfeld? I think she's very charming.
She was extremely charming in that. I mean, I
and
think
she's also quiet. She's also quiet on social media. She doesn't talk.
Yes, that too.
I think
I like the blonde Black Widow. I can't think of her.
Florence Pugh.
Yes, and I actually like her.
She was funny in Black Widow, like making the jokes at.
She was good. I mean, like
the story was dumb.
The story was so bad too, and like
Black Widow should have come out when Captain Marvel did.
Yes, because there was nothing meaningful to Black Widow. She was dead.
I mean, I want some theme park casual.
What's going on, theme park?
I hope the weather in Cali is treating you well.
Yep.
I think the main thing I see is that one, like they're skipping. Thank you, theme park. Thank you. They're cutting past and skipping a lot of character development for characters. Like Captain Marvel should have been Marvel. It should have been the first Captain Marvel. Like the reason why you have time. You don't need to go and do
But like with WandaVision
was really good for the first 3 or 4 episodes.
It was intriguing, but then they did a bunch of stuff that to me I felt like was very much a slap in the face, like the fact that they got what's his name, the
Pietro.
Fox, Quicksilver in there as her brother, and
they did a lot of they did a lot of like trolling fans.
Yes, and the whole bad guy who it was, like that was so lame. And then even too, like, I mean, yeah, like Wanda was a bad guy and like gets away scot-free essentially. Like that was very frustrating that all happened. And then I think the other thing too is just the fact that how they made her turn into a bad guy made no sense to me.
So the House of M comic book run.
but that
right?
it was
And
like
you
that was
built up to it. You had a
well,
lot of time to build up. Wanda's one of the younger characters in the MCU.
yes. If I'll put it this way, if House of M is a can of Coke, the WandaVision and Doctor Strange, what was it, Multiverse of Madness, or a
God.
LaCroix, where it was like, here is some carbonated water where a strawberry farted on it, and that's the flavoring. It was like that week.
I did not expect Sam Raimi to do a movie
I think
throwing so much stuff in the fans' faces.
I think that was more. They were in desperate need of somebody, and they went, here is a
Competent
boatload
director.
of here is a boatload of money. We're gonna pay you. We need you to direct this. And part of me goes, maybe there was something in there where it's like, you can do something else in the future. That's your own. Maybe not. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I'm assuming that's what it was. They gave him stupid money to do it. And
It is what it is.
it is. But I'm just saying, it was with Loki, that's when I knew MCU was dead too. I mean, that was one that was such a slap in the face because
Of Sylvie and all that, and then
well,
Kang
Sylvie,
controlling everything. Every decision is Kang.
yeah,
Kang coming in.
yeah, that was stupid. Sylvie, I didn't like her character. I mean, in terms of the
The actress,
actress,
I think she's fine.
think she's fine, but I think that character was terrible. And then the fact that the Infinity Stones, they're like, they're paperweights, Yeah.
Well, why would you copy something from Star Wars? They basically copied Luke's lightsaber throw from Last Jedi. That's
Yeah,
what they did. You take something that has reverence to fans.
it was very insulting as a fan. And yeah, I was just like, I got no interest. Like I said, I did watch Hawkeye after that because I think I was just bored and I threw it on, and it captured my attention enough right away. But Echo, I thought Echo was a terrible.
It didn't
character.
even come. Yeah, it didn't even come out. It's not going to come out.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, even in that show, I was like,
they even take Daredevil, who I love the Daredevil Netflix series. The first two seasons, the third season, whatever. First two seasons of Daredevil Netflix show are amazing, and they take him. I don't mind the costume change. Fine, whatever. They change it to a different version of the costume, but having R2's gotta go. Having him do the walk of shame, not cool. Daredevil don't do that. Daredevil don't do the walk of shame.
And again, the other thing too is the MCU, for as much as there are 40, 50-year-old men who love it and watch it, it's still very much focused for kids, and to have that. And again, this is Disney.
Put it this way, they barely ever even had Jane and Thor kiss in movies.
Oh, I know. And then too, Gary summed it up perfectly, where he goes how it started, and we see it's it's been done so many times, but the superhero landing pose of Iron Man, and then She-Hulk twerking.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't. I think that you could have had your adult things labeled at Marvel Knights, in the comics, when they had Jessica Jones is not a regular Marvel character. She's a Marvel Knights character.
Yeah.
Her comic was an adult character. I get that. Punisher, is not really a kid-friendly character. The series was great. First season, second season was okay. I feel like they didn't know what to do with him. They didn't want him to be the Punisher really until the end of the second season. They just wanted him to be called the Punisher, but not actually be the Punisher. Personally, I think you want to do a next Spider-Man film, you got to have Punisher going after Spidey.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
No, I agree. Yeah, they've screwed up so much, and it's one of those things. It's very frustrating at the same time. I've gotten to the point where I'm don't care about it anymore, so I don't really get that upset when I see it now.
Yeah, I just like talking about what could be.
No, I know. And instead, though, but I mean, like, that's where I'm like, well, you know, I still have all those old films that they did do that I liked that I can go watch. You know, I can go watch the original trilogy of Star Wars and play the older games that I have. That they did announce that they are going to do, I think, TIE Fighter again. They're doing a remake of TIE Fighter, which
I will
I
say
was very excited for that. That was great.
The Rogue Squadron game, not the newer one, wasn't bad. The Rogue Squadron game they came out with recently, that was just the space combat, and
You know,
there's no story to
I
it.
don't-
It's just
I don't have it anymore, but when I had Game Pass, I did download that. And then when it was like design your character, and I'm like, no.
why do I need a character if I'm a spaceship?
Well, not only that, but I'm just saying, like, all the options for it were the most beta looking character options in the world. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, all of these choices, this is what you get. I was like, you know what? I'm not even playing it. I uninstalled it.
All right. I want to thank Archie for being on. The dogs I'm watching are going nuts right now. So I was only going to do about an hour or so because I already did 2 hours with you guys earlier today. This was just, I wanted to chat for a little bit and talk. I don't really do random conversation streams too much. And sometimes it's fun just to have a chat. So I do want to say go watch After the Weekend Harder, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, here, I'll drop the link in the chat.
You can drop the link for people if they don't know who you are.
Yes.
And as for me, I think I'm taking a couple of days off, but besides that, yeah, we're still working towards that 2,500 giveaway for that weird random popcorn bucket. Not random, it's a little picnic basket. So once we get there, that some subscriber will get it. Don't know how I'm going to do that. I think I'll do the same thing I did last time and just put my nephews at it and say pick a name. That's kind of how it works. And
very cool.
We'll have more Halloween Horror Nights content. We'll have more park content. And like I said, I think I put it in a community post. This Thursday, we'll be doing Brendan Fraser 90 films, which was a really good year for him, man. You got The Mummy, you got George of the Jungle, you got like a lot of good Brendan Fraser films in the 90s.
I remember watching The Mummy when it came out, and I loved that. And then I got it I remember when it was before like Amazon owned them for one, but Real.com ordering movies. And I always seemed to, me and my brother, we would get DVDs a lot of times, like 1 or 2 days early before they came out. It was like finding like $100. We loved it. But that first Mummy movie was phenomenal. In my opinion.
It was the closest thing to Indiana Jones we had for a long time. Like that was like spiritual Indiana Jones, and Brendan Fraser was like perfect. That casting was like so close. So like when you have a good ensemble, you just know it, and it's just like each person was perfect for the roles they were playing as. So I want to thank you all for hanging out. No stream tomorrow, no SOS, no nothing like that. And then and subscribe to After the Weekend.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it, Tom.
Bye. We are out of here.